Hello everyone, I am Javed in German city of Munich, and with me is Florian. And today we are very excited because we don't meet so often people who have been visiting from Germany to Pakistan, and Florian had a wonderful experience. So hello Florian, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
So it's a pleasure. So Florian, actually to be honest, I have not heard about his story also, but I can tell you that he has a YouTube blog about tourism in Pakistan, and he has around 300,000 views on this video, and the link we will share in the description. First of all, Florian, tell us about your experience in Pakistan. Did you really enjoy it?
I loved it. I can't even put it into words. For me, it's still incredible, and I'm so happy I got to be in this country, to meet the amazing people, and I'm traveling around the world right now and doing videos, and I heard that Pakistan is great, but I did not expect that, and I only was there for 8 days because then I had to leave because of Corona, but I was just blown away. People were so generous, so nice. The landscape is stunning, so I can't wait to go back.
Wow, so hopefully you will be back. So guys, you have heard, he loved the country, he loved the people, and he really wants to go back. That's really amazing. But first question that comes in my mind is that, why Pakistan? How did you think about going to Pakistan, and how was Pakistan introduced to you? Did some friend tell you about this, or it was just on the YouTube? How did you know about Pakistan?
I think the problem here is, like in the West, is that we always have a weird picture about Pakistan, that we think, it's unsafe, you got to be careful. It's not really a tourism country. And I'm always very careful when it comes to those things, because there's always two things, and I've been to Iran before. I've traveled to some other places that were dangerous, which turned out to be great countries. So for me, it was very clear. I've seen pictures about Pakistan, about the mountains. I've met a lot of Pakistanis when I was on my travels in Saudi Arabia, also here, and they were always so nice. And I was like, I want to go to that country. Like you. No, but really, like every Pakistani person, they just smile with the nicest smile, and so I just was like, I really want to experience this country. And of course, I checked some things. Is it okay to go there? Where can I go? And my family, my mom especially, she's like, oh, Pakistan, are you sure it's safe?
Yes.
I don't know if it's a good idea. I'm like, Mom, it's going to be fine. In the worst case, if it's really dangerous, I'll just leave. And I arrived, and I talked to some people before who've been in Pakistan, and I knew, there's nothing to worry about.
But in the start, as you said, so good thing was you met many Pakistanis and they were friendly people, so the impression was good. But then you start searching word Pakistan, and often a lot of things happen due to this US-Afghan war and security, and the news is only negative,
Yes.
To find out the true information about the beautiful mountains there, the beautiful desert there, the agricultural land there, so, and the culture, rich culture, the civilization which is thousands of years old. So it's tough to find that, right? And of course you're from Germany, and you will find no German videos, hardly any German videos for that country, right?
No, I don't. No, not really.
So how did you find out this information about that country?
I'll be honest with you. For me, I don't research the countries I go to a lot. I kind of want to experience it and really want to dive into it. The things I make sure is it safe to go there? There's hardly any country that's unsafe to go. And what are some things I have to be careful with? Now, I've been to a lot of, let's see, crazier countries, because here everything is structured. So I've been to a lot of crazier countries, and I like that. So I don't have a problem with that. So for me, it's more like, okay, what kind of things do I have to know? And then I'll just write people on.
So he's a brave person, yeah.
I like it when it's crazier than here. Something it's too quiet, so it's nice
boring.
It's boring. So I just write people on couchsurfing and just ask them if they have some tips, and if they want to meet up and show me the country. So I really just look for the basics and then just want to head and experience the country. And I think that's cool for Pakistan, because you can really dive into the country quite fast, and people are so happy to show you that. So that's kind of how I found out this information while being there.
That's really nice. And tell us about the visa process. Was it simple?
Well, people told me that it's simpler now, but I think it took me 5 hours to get the visa. So it's easier now. You can do it electronically, but it was still a huge pain in the butt, I think. And I think Pakistan is working on that, but yeah, it took me a while, because you have to have your agenda. And I didn't have my agenda. I didn't know where I'm going to be. I was like, I want to be very flexible. I didn't know when I'm going to leave the country. But they want the whole agenda. They want all of the hotels. So I actually booked all the hotels on Booking.com.
So you can cancel it.
And then I deleted it. Yeah, then I canceled it again. So, but it's still, you don't have to go to the embassy anymore. It's electronic.
So it's
that's
already
good. But it takes a bit.
Till last year, you had to go to the embassy in Frankfurt or Berlin.
Yeah.
But now they have made it online. So so it was done. And then which country did you land in first, and which airlines? Which city you came to Pakistan, and which airlines?
So I was in Saudi Arabia, and I flew from Saudi Arabia to Islamabad, the capital. And that was quite an interesting experience because
this is a new airport this year. Maybe last year they opened a new airport.
I've heard, and it's beautiful. It's very modern. It's nice. And I was flying with another guy I met in Saudi Arabia who was also going to Pakistan by chance at the same day, and we were the only tourists. So we were showing our visa to we were the only ones in the line for the foreign nationals. For the foreign, and we didn't know what to expect, and we both have been to India, and we thought, okay, with the history, there's probably going to be a lot of beeping when we get out of the airport, and a lot of people just going to come to us and try to get us in the taxi or whatever. And I remember we get out of the airport, and we're just like, it's so quiet. There's no one is beeping, and people were just very nice, but no one came to us and they were like, hey, taxi here, taxi there. It was amazing. So yeah, we just booked an Uber and went to our Airbnb.
Okay, that's good. So you booked an Uber and went to Airbnb in Islamabad. So what did you eat first when you go there? Had a nice experience? So I will be honest, Islamabad is not a culturally old city. Like you don't get a feeling of history there. Yeah. It's a modern city built in 1970.
Yeah. Yes. Which I thought was interesting because I didn't know. So I think it's a very interesting experience when you get to go in the country first and you just see this. Everything is structured. Everything is very planned out. Beautiful city, very green city. Yes. And that really surprised me. But
I'm from Islamabad,
which is a nice city.
And I want to go home.
I can imagine.
Okay. Yes.
I don't remember the first thing I ate. I'm really bad with the names of the food, I have to say. Okay. But we went to this restaurant. And we asked the guy, what's a really Pakistani thing we can order, and he brought us that. So I don't unfortunately remember the name. But
so during this trip, were you alone all the time, or you had another guy you said you met? Was he with you, or you were alone in Islamabad and then the further travels in Pakistan?
So he was another YouTuber. So he's a really big travel YouTuber, and I got to meet him in Saudi Arabia, and we said, okay, let's go to Pakistan together. Okay. And we happened to take the same route and travel together. Okay. So I was traveling with him, and the last 3 days I was alone. But we went to Islamabad, Peshawar, and Chitral. Okay. And then we had to unfortunately go back and leave the country.
And it's also very interesting that all the big states in Pakistan, they have different languages. Like Peshawar is totally different language, Pashto. Chitral, they have their own language. Even people from Peshawar cannot understand, we cannot understand. And then you had to come back, otherwise you would have gone to Lahore, Punjabi people, and then Karachi maybe. But yes, tell us about Peshawar specifically, because it's totally different.
Very.
But you find a lot of Pashto speaking people in Germany, yes.
Yeah.
People from Afghanistan and from northwestern Pakistan.
Yeah, true.
Speak Pashto.
I love Peshawar. It was a crazy city, and I think a couple of years ago it was labeled one of the most dangerous cities in the world, and I always had that in mind. So going in there, you see, okay, there's still army patrolling and checking to make sure that everything's fine, but at no time I ever felt unsafe. And it was crazy. We had such a great experience. I remember we were walking the streets and people came to us and were just greeting us, and we're like, what are you here? Are you reporters? And we were like, no. We're just tourists. And they're like, tourists? People were so surprised that tourists. It was like, yeah, and you were walking on the market and people were like, selfie. So, and come here, tea. And then you would drink a tea, and then you would walk 2 minutes, and another person would be like, no, you have to drink tea with us. I think for 2 hours we were just drinking tea in this one street.
Selfies, meeting new people.
It was crazy. I really was like, people are so generous and nice and just friendly to.
And what kind of tea was that? Green tea, black tea?
The green tea.
Green tea.
And it's so good. I miss it. The green tea is so good.
So this is also culturally different. In Peshawar you find a lot of green tea.
Yeah.
In Punjab you don't find a lot of green tea.
Yeah,
It's black tea and
people
with milk. You know.
Yeah, people.
Yeah, it's a beautiful culture because Peshawar is a very historic city and
Yeah.
it's close to Afghanistan. That's why it also suffered a lot during the US-Afghan war. But it is history now. It's almost very safe now. Much better. Yeah.
There was not a problem at all.
Yes. And tell us about Chitral, and you told about Kalash also, which is historic.
Yeah. We arrived in Peshawar, and then people told us you have to go to Chitral. It's beautiful. It's in the mountains.
Any good food you remember from Peshawar? And just without name also. Should be a lot of lamb or
the lamb. I love the simple things, just the bread and the what is it called? Kichererbsen.
This is called peas, chickpeas.
Chickpeas. Yeah, with
Chickpeas.
the chickpeas. I love that. It's so good.
It's a very nice thing.
Food in general there is great.
Yeah.
Just a bit too spicy sometimes for my German tongue.
Yeah, of course. And then you thought you will go to Chitral.
Yeah, so
north of Pakistan, the extreme north.
North of Pakistan was an interesting ride because it was supposed to take 10 hours. I think it took us 14 hours. Let's say roads are different than here.
Yeah, in the north, yeah.
It's normal. So yeah, we were.
It's the wild north.
It's beautiful, but yeah, it takes a while to take. Yeah. And we arrived in Chitral, in this beautiful village in the mountains. And the next day we took a driver. He took us to Kalash Valley, which we were told there.
Tell us about Kalash Valley, because most of the Pakistanis also have never been to Kalash Valley, but it's one of the beautiful places, right?
It's very beautiful. I mean, these are the only mountains I've seen in Pakistan. But I was like, oh my god, if the rest is like this as well, beautiful. And how I understood it, that the Kalash Valley are completely different. They're not Muslims.
Yes, there are no Muslims.
Yeah, and they kind of live sheltered in their own community there, and kind of try to preserve their own cultural history.
Yes, these people were, I think, somehow left from the time when Alexander the Great came to conquer India, and then he left, but some tribes left behind.
Yeah.
So these people are historically Europeans.
Yeah.
From Greece, maybe, I don't know.
Could be. Yeah. That's the story I've wrote, and that's the story they always told us. And it was funny because someone in Peshawar gifted me a Pashtun hat and the Pakistani outfit, and I was wearing it. And people they thought I'm from the area, and they were always coming to me and talking to me. I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't speak. Yeah. I don't speak.
So Pashtun. It's also very, very interesting. Pakistan from north to south. Yeah. From north, the skin color is as white as the Europeans, like you have a Chitral and to the south, it gets, after every 100 kilometers, you get a little bit of dark. So it's also the beautiful cultural difference and the languages. Okay, any good food or any special thing you remember from Kalash Valley? Okay. Or anything special you want to share?
I mean, what they told us, that they brew their own wine there. So we tried that. I thought that was very interesting. I know that's because we're like, interesting that, of course, in their own community they do that. So we tried the wine there, which was interesting.
That's also very interesting, because in other parts in Peshawar, Islamabad, you cannot sell wine or alcohol in the markets. But
exactly.
Okay, interesting. And then you wanted to go somewhere else. When did you exactly know that, unfortunately, we have to cut down our trip short because of coronavirus and leave?
So we were heading back to Islamabad. And my plan was to go up to Skardu and explore more of the mountains. And then go back to Lahore and down to Karachi. Yes. And we came back to Islamabad, and that's where we split it. And I was talking to my host who I was staying with. And he said, situation is getting worse. And I could tell the difference. Just in this 1 week, so much has happened. Back in Germany, they were talking about closing the borders. In Pakistan, you could tell that they're closing down stuff. And at first I was like, okay, I'll just go to the north and see. But yeah, then they were talking about there might be no buses going in a few days. So I thought, I don't want to be stuck in the mountains, even though it's beautiful, but I'd rather be stuck in Germany probably. Yes. So yeah, and I came back and I literally booked a flight for the evening, and I took off the same day just because I thought everything is getting so crazy. Let's make sure I get
back. So you were in the middle of a wonderful trip and you had to come back. It means that you're your heart is still left there. Yeah? It wants to visit Lahore and Karachi, the biggest two cities with two extreme unique cultures and different languages. It was a great experience talking to you, and now we are neighbors in Munich, so we'll remain in touch, of course.
I hope
So any good thing you want to tell our viewers, especially the German viewers, like about Pakistan, or they should go there, or anything you want to tell?
So what I always find important is that I think when it comes to the Muslim world and to Pakistan and to all those countries, we have a certain kind of picture. And I always say, why do we have that picture? When's the last time you talked to a Pakistani or to a Muslim or to someone from this area? And most of the times the people say, I actually never talked to someone. So I always say, be careful where you get those ideas from, because that's often not the case. And especially for this country, I was so blown away by the kindness, the hospitality, the landscape, the people. And I'm telling everyone, like, and I've heard this from other people who have been to Pakistan as well, once you go there, you always want to go back, because this country will blow you away. And for me, it's definitely among the top 3, and I really recommend everyone to go there.
That's perfect. So top 3, yeah. Thank you very much for the kind words. Okay, now last 1 minute, you have to say something to the Pakistani viewers who are watching this, especially those who are in Germany.
The Pakistani viewers in Germany?
Yeah.
Well, I first of all have huge respect for you guys taking the step, because I know it's hard, going to a different culture, trying to live there. I know we Germans don't always make it easy for you guys. We're a bit closed off. We don't smile that much. So,
but you're smiling, no.
Because I was in Pakistan.
No.
But really, it's so cool, and I think keep that culture and show that to the Germans, and show this kindness, because I think those things make an impact, and those things change a picture of a country, of a culture, and of everything. So I think it's so cool you guys are here, and show us the Pakistani way here in Germany, and we learn from you guys, and you learn from us. I think that's beautiful.
That's beautiful, and thank you very much. And I thank Florian. So he saw our channel Urdu Radio Deutschland, and he contacted himself. So it's so kind for him that he wanted to connect to people, because he had a wonderful experience, and then he thought, okay, people from Pakistan are also living in Germany. Why should not we contact and be friends? Thank you very much for your time. It was a pleasure to have you on our show. And dear viewers, keep following us on Urdu Radio Deutschland, the channel that's bringing you informative things about Germany. And also follow Florian, his wonderful YouTube channel. You want to say something?
It was amazing to be here, and happy to see you more often.
Yeah, we will remain in touch. Sure. Goodbye. Signing off. Bye-bye.